Good morning, I'm Nivareti Manu, and this is your morning news fix for Wednesday, 20th of May. In this update, fear we'll lose a lot more talent in further public service cuts. Nicola Willis has announced a plan to slash almost 9,000 more roles, alongside several entire departments. Otago University Honorary Fellow Michael Swanson says it's positive there's a clear plan and the move will likely be politically popular for the right of centre, but he warns those who lose their jobs will have to go somewhere, and overseas is the most likely outcome because it's doubtful we can fit 9,000 people into other parts of the workforce. New Zealand's seeing renewed growth in international education, with rising demand from both major and emerging markets. Education New Zealand data shows more than 92,000 international students enrolled last year, up 11% on the year prior. China and India make up almost half of all enrolments. Acting Chief Executive Linda Sissons says Asia, particularly the Southeast, is a key market for growth. She says there's a rapid interest from countries like Sri Lanka and Nepal. The US president insists talks with Iran are ongoing as he claims his opponents want him to stop. Donald Trump took to social media yesterday to say he'd hold off on plans to attack Iran at the request of Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the UAE. But this morning he told reporters the US may have to give Iran another big hit. Trump's also repeating claims Iran's desperate for a deal. He says the US is winning every aspect of the war, but claims politicians in Washington, who he calls Democrats, are trying to stop him from negotiating. The death toll in the Ebola outbreak in Central Africa has now surpassed 130. Hundreds more cases are suspected, and the World Health Organization fears the extent of the outbreak is worse than what's known. The WHO has declared a public health emergency of international concern. Police say more arrests are likely after a series of attacks connected to dating apps. 2 15-year-old and 2 16-year-old males have been charged with aggravated burglary. It follows 4 incidents involving people allegedly lured to secluded locations in Invercargill and attacked. 2 victims were seriously injured. Kiwis continue to trim their cloth in the face of a tough economy. Stats NZ data shows retail electronic card purchases fell 1.3% last month. Spending dropped across the board, particularly for vehicles and food. People appear to be driving less, spending less on fuel, despite petrol and diesel prices still surging. Compared to this time last year, New Zealanders are spending more overall, but buying less or cheaper food and continuing to cut back on their clothing budget. In sport, tennis player Carlos Alcaraz will miss Wimbledon as he continues recovering from his wrist problem. Former assistant Enzo Maresca is the lead contender to replace Pep Guardiola as Manchester City football manager next season. Zoe Hobbs has won the 100 metres at the Oceania Athletics Championships, clocking 11 seconds flat. Warriors league coach Andrew Webster has named Temaire Martin rather than Luke Metcalf as the injured Tanner Boyd's halfback replacement for Saturday's NRL match against the Dragons. I'm Nivareti Manu, and that's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at midday from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.